Welcome. In this lesson, we're going to look at the third dimension when it comes to positioning of objects within the page. We'd looked at how to place boxes, address the horizontal and vertical components or coordinates within the page. And now we're going to look at how to place items or elements vertically. That means further away from the page, towards the user, towards the viewer, or further away from the viewer. So in this case, let's go ahead and get started and create a few boxes. So I'm going to go ahead and define a few divs that I will style momentarily. So I'm going to go ahead and paste here, and I have 3 divs. As you can see, I have here level 1, level 2, level 3. None of these have any styling other than the text that they have within each of the divs. And this is simply to illustrate and give us some feedback when we're looking at it within the browser. So if I go ahead and reload this, it just looks like 3 different paragraphs or sections of text. And now I'm going to go ahead and add some styles. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add a style here. And I've predefined the style. I'm going to go ahead and enter my tag, remove the type since we don't need it in HTML5. I'm going to go ahead and enter the style for level 1. And as you can see there, I have an absolute position, a width and a height, and I'm placing it at top 10 pixels, left 10. I'm also specifying a bordered, dashed, and a color, as well as a background color. And finally, I'm simply aligning the text in the center. So, as you can see here, I have level 1, and that's going to style this div. So if we reload this page, we can see there that the div is now on top of everything else that we have because we're using absolute positioning. So it is dropping this element, this box, precisely at those coordinates that we're specifying. That is top 10 or vertical 10, left horizontal 10. So that's our first position there. Now let's go ahead and add a couple more to assign to the other two divs. So this would be our element 2. Let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste my predefined properties. You can see there I have something similar, position absolute. In this case, I am placing it at 75, 75, simply to give ourselves some space and to be able to see it so it's not right on top of each other. So you can see here that this # level 2 corresponds to our second div. I'm going to go ahead and save, reload the page, and you can see there that the next box is appearing below the first one. So let's go ahead and do one more. # level 3. And let's go ahead and copy and paste the predefined properties. Again, similar as to the first two, width and height, the top and left coordinates, and the rest is the same. So I'm just varying colors as well. So let's go ahead and reload the page, and you can see there that we have the third box. Now, up until this point, this is the default positioning for elements within the page. Now what we're going to do next is we're going to manipulate the index. And the property for that, as you can see, I've written it here, is Z Index. So for the first one, we're going to use Z Index. You can see there that I get the autocomplete of 1. And the higher the number, the closer it is to the viewer, furthest away from the page. So let's go ahead and make this one 2. And let's make this one 3. So we should reverse the order of all of these boxes on the page. Let's go ahead and reload and see if we get that. Yes. Now div 1 is the lowest one, div 3 is the highest one. in the Z order. Now let's go ahead and add one more property to be able to see some of the transparency and see through the layers. I'm simply going to style all divs, and I'm going to manipulate the opacity. Let's make it 0.7, and let's set a different font as well. Let's do 12 pixels Arial. Let's save, reload, and there you can see through the layers, and you can see what's below each of the layers. Now this is something that it's going to be quite helpful as you start to position things on the page, especially when you use absolute positioning. This is not very intuitive the first times you see it, so make sure you recreate this example and vary the depths and position your elements in different parts of the page. Try manipulating that Z depth or that Z index to make sure that you're getting the behavior you expect. So with that, I'll go ahead and close and say goodbye.